Hey YouTube, Royale here. Hope you guys are doing well. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. That's all I ask. And then just hit the like button too, just for no reason. Just to help with the YouTube algorithm. Um, so today's video, I kind of wanted to talk about a decision that basically needed to be done because I'm not necessarily someone who gives up whenever they fail. And I'm sure you guys can read the title. I want to retake my adult critical care specialty, and if you guys don't know anything about it, it's one of the hardest respiratory NBRC exams, and in order to qualify, you have to be an RRT for at least 1 year. And when I took it, it was like a couple months ago, so it had to have been like maybe October of 2023, October or November, one of the two. And I missed the passing grade by 8 points. I needed a 99, but I only got a 91. And, during that time, I was like, man, I guess necessarily I didn't need the RRT. And you still don't, you necessarily don't need to have the adult critical care specialty, but it's nice to have. But the reason I'm retaking it is because the NBRC basically sent an email out saying, hey, if you go ahead and try to take the exam again, it's basically on us. It's free. So I got my handy dandy Kettering book here, and I've been taking this thing to work and studying at home. And, that's how I basically got my RRT. I just did the Kettering. And you really only need the study guide of the Kettering, but if you're like an audio listener, you can purchase like the audio on ketteringseminars.com, and you can purchase a whole package there. And it's helpful. It works. They send people to take the exams, and they formulate study guides based on that. But for me, it's something that I would like to get done personally. So this test basically consists of 170 questions. 20 of them are like pre-test questions. They don't necessarily count, but they just throw them in there. But you don't know which one's which. So for me, I have to do, or anybody has to do their best to basically just get as many correct answers as possible. And like I said, I was only 8 points. And at the beginning when I took it last year, I was a little discouraged. I felt like I said, I didn't really need it because I'm an RRT. But something in me just tells me I need to go ahead and get this adult critical care specialty because I already have the book. I can't just buy something and just leave it sitting around and not use it. Especially with the opportunity that the NBRC is given to basically take it for free. So I'm going to try to take it within this summer. That's my plan. But for me, primarily, the reasons I want to take it is I always want to level up. I always want to make sure my knowledge is up to par when it comes to respiratory aspects. I had some coworkers tell me, getting your adult critical care is not necessarily worth it. And, these are older respiratory therapists, so I'm like, okay, so they've been in the game longer than me. They probably know that it's not necessarily worth it. And I've done my research. There's hospitals that basically, how do I say this? There's hospitals to where you can like negotiate your pay rate, your base pay rate, based on having a, obviously a certain credential. And also how many years you've been doing it. It all comes down to that. But even if a hospital doesn't necessarily give you, how do I say this, extra money for having your adult critical care specialty, you can still negotiate a pay range because you have the knowledge, you have the experience, you know what you're doing, and you can even do that with travel gigs. I found that out with my travel agent. You can negotiate with hospitals to see if they could raise your pay rate based on if you're an adult critical care role. And also with the adult critical care specialty, um, it's basically nice to have because you're also seen as a leader. Like if there was like a leadership role that was available within your workplace, you can apply for it because you know, you have that experience, and that's something to have. That's having the adult critical care specialty. It's like how do I say this? It's like you have the knowledge to show others something that necessarily that they don't know, and that they can improve on. I'm over here going. Duh, 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 duh. You gotta forgive me. It's like 3:26 in the morning. Currently at work now, but going back to the adult critical care specialty, I mean, it's something I recommend people would do. Um, like I said before, it's not necessarily needed, but I'm starting to see that a lot of places are requiring RRT and CRT. And thinking about it too, there was hospitals that I applied to, like towards the beginning of my career, where there was actually a pay difference between a certified respiratory therapist and a registered respiratory therapist. I'm not gonna say what hospitals and where, but I remember this hospital was like starting people at like, what was it, $29, and that was for a CRT. And then of course you have the differentials if you're a night shifter. But if you were an RRT, they were gonna start you at like $36, $37 plus the shift differential. And I'm like, it's the same thing. Certified respiratory therapist and a registered respiratory therapist are the same thing. But the only difference was the credential. Registered. That's a big difference. And for some of you, I'd like to make every penny count when it comes to my budgeting and things like that. So I mean, once you get your adult critical care specialty, you could throw that on your resume, and if an employer or whoever is saying, hey, we'll offer you such and such and such, you can be like, well, I have this, specialty, and I feel as if I deserve blah, 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 blah. You can do that. You can definitely do that. Don't think you can't because the older respiratory therapists say that you can't do it. You can. Yes, you can. Especially in today's market, inflation, cost of living. Come on now. Come on. It's something you really gotta consider. I don't even know how much the exam is to begin. I mean, I paid for it before, but I think it was like maybe $200-ish top of my head. But this is like an opportunity out of nowhere. I already got the book. I got the book right here. Kettering. I'm going to be reading this thing pretty much almost every day. But I think it's worth it. I think a lot of people should strive to become, obviously, RRT so that they have the opportunity to get their adult critical care specialty and see if they can negotiate salaries. I don't see the issue with that. I was watching, shout out to Big Money Bound TV. I like to watch his YouTube videos because he's just entertaining and he's truthful. But that guy pretty much got me motivated into, retaking it again. And, this has been something I've been dodging for quite a while. And I think it's time I need to get back to it and get back on track. Can't just have unnecessary resources just laying around and not use them. So, thank you guys for watching. I was just basically updating you on where I was at, what I'm doing. But I recommend, if you are going to study for your adult critical care specialty, I'd say study at your leisure. Don't necessarily do it at work and you have a bunch of coworkers like Randy was saying on his YouTube channel. Don't necessarily study where your coworkers like to be nosy and see what you're doing, because they're gonna keep bugging you about it. They're gonna ask you about it. see if you pass or fail. And, like I said, I got a 91. I needed a 99. It's doable. Just got to take my time and answer the questions correctly and slowly. So, we're going to do it. That's what I plan to do. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.